feel like maybe that was a little too black and white. That maybe it was the philosophy should be that there is old school cinematic storytelling that I really, really resonate to. A la long takes and really being specific about what you're going for as a filmmaker and not being like general and gathering stuff. And not making the film in the editing room, but making it in your head and trying to get that version. All those things I still believe in, and the technology doesn't have to be contrary to that. You can still use, like Airbender, a lot of techniques and still try to keep your old school, philosophies.
For sure. I mean, we definitely see that in Airbender, especially those fight scenes. There's some great long takes there. It's like your old style, but with like the style you've always used with your films.
Yes.
But definitely with with a more like fantasy type film.
Yes.
Was that different, or was it very different for you to like shoot this sort of film where you've mainly done like thrillers, and I guess Lady in the Water is sort of a fantasy film.
And Stuart Little, was a family one. You know what was great, and I didn't realize it till I really got into it deeply, that my very bizarre way of making movies, which is very detail-oriented, very prep-heavy, storyboard-heavy. I guess it's almost like I pretend to make animated movies when I'm making my live-action movie. Really lent itself really well to making a movie of this scale and everything. It helped me stay on budget, be very efficient, because it's one thing to not use a shot of you and I in this room that we shot, but it's another thing entirely to not use a shot of you and I when there's all this CGI going between us and going, oh, I'm not going to use it because you just used up $50,000 of your budget for no reason whatsoever. And then you realize, oh, I do need something else, but I don't have the money. Then we just threw that on the floor, and it was a waste of everyone's energy, countless people's energy. So I used the prep to kind of make my mistakes, keep on shooting it in my head on paper, and in this case, previs. On the Blu-ray, hopefully I will put on the previs. By the way, hey China, this is on camera.
It's
Are
on
we
camera.
putting the previs on the Blu-ray? Did we put the previs on the Blu-ray?
I'm not sure.
Can you check? That might have been a huge mistake of mine. That has to be on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you check on that? Okay, cool.
Are your Blu-ray plans like already set?
Yeah, and I just blanked on it just now going... That was like the first thing I wanted on the Blu-ray was the previs.
Yeah, I read an interview that you did with, I think, 30ninjas.com, where you were talking a lot about the previs, and it's like, I definitely want to see those at some point.
I just made a tragic error, just that my mind's not in the right place, and someone sent some list, and I was like, yeah, that's great. And
just make it,
Yeah, hopefully it's not too late. But
Nice.
the previs, like for example, so, I put all my anal... control freak tendencies into the previs, so we spent forever, and I literally made this 30-minute previs that feels like a finished movie of the end of the movie, and it's poignant to watch, and you get emotional watching these cardboard characters kind of going like this and like holding figures, and but what that helped me do was make the movie many times before we shot the movie.
So I guess since so much of it, or you were able to do a lot of prevising, were you able to make most of the film that you scripted, or was anything cut out because of length or anything?
Not length per se, but emotional distraction.
Okay.
Where and sometimes it's the reverse of what you're thinking. This side character is working so well that they're pulling you away from the main characters and the main story, and I'm intrigued by that. Where's that going to go? This is going nowhere, and especially in a mythology like this, where my hope was to bring in other characters and then pay them off in the second and third movies. There's a tolerance for that because they lose patience, the audience, and you want to make sure you get the right balance right. So some things did end up on the floor.
Okay.
Two things ended up on the floor in terms of not in the movie. One was some of the more slapsticky comic stuff didn't work in the movie. The tonality, it was more trying to be homage to the show, and it didn't quite work for the movie. And then two, the Kyoshi Warriors who I love, and my Hellcat I had in the movie till the last second, and I just was like, had to come to the truth that they were distracting us from the movie.
That would have been like the earthbending scenes, right? Yeah.
Not earthbending. They don't bend. They're not benders. They're just like female ninjas, like hot ninjas.
Yes. Yes.
They're very cool. They have these metal fans, and there are all these beautiful women
And that was like a romantic subplot for Sokka too.
That doesn't pick up in this movie in the first season. That comes in the second movie. And so what happens is they came into the movie and then disappeared for the final act, and it felt very like clunky. And over 20 episodes of a season, you don't really think about that. But when it's brought down to 2 hours, you start to feel like, wait, where did they go? I like them so much. And you're going, well, I can't. They're not part of the third act. So, if I'm going to introduce such great characters, let me introduce them and bring them into the plot and make them vital. I'm going to do that in the movie too. Okay. So that was a tough one, dude.
Oh man, yeah, because I would have loved to see them in live action.
They were really cool, and we spent a lot of time on them.
Is that going to be on the Blu-ray or the DVDs?
You know what? I decided not to.
Okay.
Because they're going to be in the next movie.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to go, well, hey, I can't use those shots. Because I put them on the Blu-ray. And, maybe some of my planning and all can now be used in the future movie.
So, like actual footage shot?
No, not actual.
Okay.
I don't think, not actual footage, because they're tied to the actors here, but the design of the introduction of their characters, how they were introduced, and all that stuff.
Nice. I actually, I was a big fan of the fight scenes in this film.
Oh, thanks.
I was wondering, what were your inspirations? Because, throughout all your films, Unbreakable had a couple, very realistic fight scenes, but nothing stylized, nothing choreographed, super, like a martial arts movie.
Yeah. Unbreakable was really the beginning of this movie for me. That the kind of action that would interest me would be choreographed and poetic. I look at fights, and when I talk to the stunt coordinators and the fight choreographers, I said, the fighting is dialogue. And so the dialogue can't be, I hate you, you hate me, I hate you, you hate me, and it's really boring, so it needs to have struggles and ups and downs and chess games going on, and all those wonderful things that really do go on when you're fighting someone physically. It isn't a dialogue of I hate you, you hate me. Yeah. And so we talked through all those things. I had a wonderful time thinking in those things. I study martial arts, and it was fun to bring all that, almost something that my love that had nothing to do with my day job, to the table. It was great.
For sure. I think anybody who loves movies, fight scenes on movies, when done well, it's magical.
Yes, right.
What kind of martial arts have you been studying?
Kempo karate.
Nice. I did that too for 5 years. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, great. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it